So, do you actually need a conlang? So, if you considering fantasy, writing fantasy, you would have probably heard of a conlang, or a constructed language. There are various reasons for why that would be important. One would be it's not actually based on Earth as we know it. So, you would expect some aspects of the culture to be different. And one of those aspects is likely to be language. So, there are two approaches to consider here. One, the language that most of the conversation takes place in the language used by the majority of the cast, and the second option, the second scenario to consider is languages that make an appearance in the narrative, as in languages that are spoken by other groups of people and such. So that will be a problem for another time. So for now, we'll be focusing on the common language in the setting. So there are two cases for that. One is, do you need to use a conlang for speech? Well, probably not, because no one's going to be able to understand it. So yeah, for names and place names as well, you could get around using a conlang if you want to. So you could use normal names, find your names from a baby name site as you normally would. So the advantage in doing that is everyone knows how to pronounce the names in the first place. Everyone's familiar with them, so no one will look at them twice. But the problem is names could have, certain impressions attached and such. And if it sounds just way too normal, it could break immersion. Another possible problem is place names. So if you just make up your place names in normal English or whatever language you're writing in, chances are it will sound a little odd, because place names tend to have changed over time in some places. In some places it might be new, but that's not going to be the case universally. So in some places, place names will have evolved over time to the point that they make little sense to the people who are living there. So if you use conlangs for names and place names, then the main problem here is pronunciation. It might not be very intuitive, so that depends on how you make your language in the first place. So you could sort of reduce that problem by making it more pronounceable to people speaking your target language, as in the language your book is written in. The real advantage here is that it helps in immersion. So for that purpose, you might want to go into the trouble of making a conlang. So those are the main points to consider when deciding whether you want a conlang for your common language or not. So we'll be discussing about the other languages side of it in another time. So that is it.